Henry had never been afraid of the dark. He had lived in the same small house for nearly 30 years, and the darkness of the backyard felt more like an old friend than something to fear. The tall oak tree stood like a gentle guardian, and the wooden fence, though worn, gave him a sense of comfort. But tonight, as he stepped onto the back porch with his small lantern in hand, the world felt different. Not unfamiliar, just heavier, quieter, as if the night itself was holding its breath. He turned the small metal knob on the lantern, and a warm golden glow spread across the grass. The light flickered once, hesitating, before settling into a steady flame. "Still works," Henry murmured to himself, though he wasn't speaking to himself entirely. The lantern had been Emily's favorite. She said its light felt like a piece of sunrise you could hold in your hands. It had been 2 years since she passed, but every night Henry lit the lantern exactly the way she used to. Same spot, same hour, same slow, peaceful breath afterward. He walked across the yard, his feet brushing through the thin autumn leaves scattered like forgotten memories. He reached the stone bench, the one he and Emily bought at a small craft fair decades ago. On summer nights, they would sit there holding hands, talking about everything and nothing, listening to the crickets and watching the stars appear one by one. Tonight, the bench felt colder. The air carried the first hints of winter. Henry placed the lantern gently on the bench beside him, its glow pooling around his legs like a soft, golden blanket. He sat down slowly, letting his old bones settle. From this spot, he could see the back windows of the house glowing faintly. He imagined Emily inside, humming in the kitchen, wearing that faded blue apron with the tiny embroidered flowers. He closed his eyes. For a brief, fragile moment, he felt her presence, just a hint, like a familiar scent passing by. "I lit it for you," he whispered. His voice was steady, but his heart trembled. A cool breeze brushed against his cheek, light but deliberate. It didn't feel like wind. It felt like a touch, a gentle, loving touch. Henry smiled, though his corners of his eyes stung. "You always did hate it when I forgot," he said with a soft laugh. Another breeze rustled the branches above him, as if answering. He looked up at the oak tree. He remembered the day they planted it. Emily had insisted they choose a tree that would grow with their life. And it had. Through storms, droughts, and seasons of joy, the oak had stood strong. Now, its leaves shimmered in the lantern light, moving in slow, sleepy waves. Henry leaned back, letting the night wrap around him. The world felt calm, safer, fuller. He thought about the life they shared. The early days when everything was uncertain except their love. The long walks in the park on rainy days. The silly arguments over grocery lists. The nights spent dancing in the living room to songs only they liked. The quiet mornings when they would sit outside with tea, listening to the birds waking the world. All those moments, small and fragile, had become treasures he never realized he was collecting. As he sat with the lantern warming his hands, he felt none of the loneliness that usually crept in during the evenings. Tonight, the backyard didn't feel empty. It felt occupied, filled, whole. He took a deep breath. The air smelled like damp leaves and distant smoke, autumn's perfume. "Emily? I'm trying. I really am." He didn't expect an answer. But something shifted, subtle, almost invisible. The lantern flame rose a little higher, glowing brighter for a heartbeat. The light washed over Henry's face, warm and gentle. He felt something loosen in his chest, a knot he had carried for years, a heaviness he no longer needed. He closed his eyes again.
In the darkness behind his eyelids, he saw her clearly. Sitting beside him, her hands folded in her lap, her smile soft and familiar. Not a memory, not a ghost, just presence.